Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Bible in the year 2021. This is day 235, and we are reading through Jeremiah 49 and 50 and continue on with Jeremiah's prophecies to the nations that are all around Israel. And so we pick it up here in chapter 49, verse 2. This is for Ammon. Therefore, the time is coming, declares the Lord, when I will sound the battle alarm against Rabbah, the capital city of the Ammonites. The city will be demolished and its neighboring villages will be burned to the ground. Then Israel will repossess the land seized by its captors, says the Lord. So there's promises, several promises here. One is, your judgment is coming on you. The other one is that Israel will get to pick up the pieces afterwards. And then there's prophecies to Edom in verses 10 to 11. But me, I will strip Esau bare, because Edom is a descendant of Esau. So you remember who Esau is. I will strip Esau bare. I will expose his hiding places, and he will find no place to take cover. His offspring, family, and acquaintances will perish, and there will be no one left to say, leave me your orphans, and I'll look after them. Trust your widows into my care. So this is a judgment that's coming against Edom, and a part of it is the fact that they didn't do this. They didn't look after the orphans. They didn't look after the widows. Syria in verses... let me just check something here. Okay, I forgot to change the verses for you, but it's down a little bit further. So Syria, Damascus staggers about, Damascus being the capital of Syria. She tries to flee, but panic overwhelms her. She's gripped by anguish and pain like a woman in labor. Forsaken is the renowned city, city of my delight. Now, this is the thing that you need to pick up in the language of these prophecies as you read them through. Israel was raised to be an example to these other nations, but Israel is not the only nation that is a delight to Yahweh. We see here, forsaken is the renowned city, city of my delight. So other nations brought the Lord delight, and he loved them. He loved the nations, and that's why he raised Israel, was so that they would see the example that would be set. Yes, her young men will fall to the streets, and her soldiers will be silent on the day, declares the Lord of heavenly forces. So Babylon is being brought in to bring correction to all these nations. And then we have Kedar. Now, Kedar is not a nation as much as it is Kedar is made up of tribes. They're nomad, and they didn't have any specific boundaries. So you have these nomads called Kedar and Hazar, which is a kingdom. So in verses 31 to 32, get ready to attack a nation that feels safe and secure, declares the Lord, one without barred gates that lives by itself. Their camels will become plunder, and that's very specific for the Kedarians. Their many cattle will be pillaged. I will scatter to the winds those who are clean shaven, and I will bring disaster on them from every side, declares the Lord. So the camel is a reference to these wandering nomads. And the verses that follow talk specifically about Hazar, the kingdom of Hazar. And then we have Elam in verses 31 to 32. So you see, we dealt with a lot of nations yesterday, a lot of nations again today. So Jeremiah had a lot to say to all these surrounding nations. I will bring against Elam 4 winds from the 4 corners of heaven, and I will scatter them to the winds. Those banished from Elam will migrate to every nation. I will terrify Elam before their enemies, before those who seek to kill them. I will bring disaster upon them, my fierce anger, declares the Lord. I will send the sword to attack them until I have destroyed them all. when you read all the verses, the full verses, the full chapters, you'll see that there are some nations that the Lord is just destroying. They will not come back. He's killing all of them. And then others that he's reducing, and then he gives the promise, but I will bring you back to this land. So it's good to take note as you read through this, who is being totally removed and who is being reduced like Israel. And then we get to chapter 50. And now we're just going to deal specifically with Babylon, the mighty kingdom of Babylon. And if you've not read the history of the city, which became a kingdom, it's a kingdom, a city state. It'd be good to do that, because it's thought that the people that Abraham came from, Ammonites, that's what is thought, built the original city-state. It was just minor, it wasn't very significant at all, called Babylon. And many different empires actually took control of Babylon and built it up, and it got destroyed and rebuilt and so on. But during the time of Israel, when Israel's being taken captive, it's the Chaldeans. And you'll read with Abraham's origin story that he lived among the Chaldeans. So it's interesting to see the interactions between the peoples. So here we have the prophecies for the nations against Babylon now. In verse 4-5, in those days and at that time, declares the Lord, the people of Israel and Judah will come out of Babylon together. With weeping, they will leave as they seek the Lord their God. They will search for Zion, turning their faces toward it. They will come and unite with the Lord in an everlasting covenant that will never be forgotten. Now, the reason I included this, because it's not so much against Babylon, it is a promise for the people of Israel and Judah, is that you can see the hope that is being given to them throughout the prophecies, what they need to hold on to, that the 70 years they will be coming back. And it's actually the king of Babylon that will release them. And it's after that the kingdom will fall. In verse 9-10, I'm stirring up against Babylon a coalition of mighty nations that will mobilize in the north. And from there, she will be captured. Their arrows are like those of an expert archer who does not return empty-handed. Babylon will be defeated. Its attackers will carry off all that they want, declares the Lord. And it's amazing with the history of Babylon, how quickly it rose up to prominence, to the fact that it took over so many kingdoms and so much of the known world at that time, and how quickly it disappeared. It was not around for a long time. I mean, the city is old, but a powerful city. It was only there for a short period of time. Going on in verses 18-19, I'm going to punish the king of Babylon and his land, just as I punished the king of Assyria. But I will restore Israel to their pasture. They will graze on Carmel and Bashan. They will eat their fill in the highlands of Ephraim and Gilead. There's an encouraging prophecy for you if you're in Babylon as a removed Jew. In verse 34, I wanted to put this in here because it's significant. Yet the Redeemer is strong. The Lord of heavenly forces is his name. He will surely defend their cause and give them rest in the land. But he will unsettle the people of Babylon. So, encouraging words for Israel. Their God is the Lord of hosts. Yeah. Okay, so you guys be blessed today. Be encouraged. Thank you for participating in this and being on this journey with me. And I pray that you'll have an excellent day, and we will catch up with each other tomorrow. God bless.